I'm low-key dripped the hell out, bro. Spider-Man with the hood is always just unbeatable. Anyway, so as you guys know, currently ongoing, we do have the Relic Recon event. In my personal opinion, this is definitely an event that we should see very frequently. This is great for new players, returning players, and players who are playing the game actively to this day. While there are some problems with the event, overall it is a very positive event that we should see frequently. So in this video I'm going to first briefly talk about what it is, just for people who may be watching this in the future, or maybe players that haven't gotten around to it yet, or maybe they're just coming back to the game. I'll be talking about the ups and downs, and then I'll be talking about why it should be a not permanent, but a thing that's frequently added to version patches, why it should be doing that, and why it's really beneficial. So for starters, for people who may be coming back or just don't know much about the event, Relic Recon is the current latest thing, as in 3.7. It allows you to create a full set to give to a character. Pretty much you can select a character, the game decides on what that character's recommended substats are. So for example, Aglia is going to like attack, crit rate, crit damage, and speed. You do a bunch of tasks in game, usually ones that you would just complete by just playing. And you get to open these chests that give you a full roll that's usually in the form of a 5 roll. And you just repeatedly open chests and open chests. It's automatically level 15. You waste no actual resources, no XP, no RNG on the piece. Well, there is RNG at the piece. And then you can keep constantly getting a better one. You can overwrite one you've already gotten. And after a certain amount, you're guaranteed to get a box that has, I think, 2 recommended stats, or was it 3? I can't remember on the top of my head. Nonetheless, it's pretty much a event that not guarantees, but it gives you the best shot of at least upgrading 1 or 2 pieces, or maybe even giving a full set for a character you might need to build. A lot of people use this event on their DHPT because he was recent. A lot of people use it on their Cyrene. A lot of people also use it on someone like a Noxa who can use more rare sets that you don't want to farm. There's a lot of actual uses for this event and a lot of different characters that can benefit from this event overall. So some pros and cons on the event. So overall, there's not really many cons. It is just free pieces that are good. Free 5 stats, free actual just leveled pieces so you don't have to waste anything. As someone who's constantly leveling up relics, I'm very frequently broke on XP. I don't know how universally common that is, but I never have XP to use. It's a bit easier to talk about the cons on this because there is like blatant issues. They don't overweigh the positives, but it's just easier to talk about. One of them is sometimes the recommended stat on a character can be a bit annoying. I'm going to use Aglia as an example here. For an E1 to E3 Aglia, there is a base speed Aglia build with a hyperspeed Sunday that is roughly about 5% better than running a 2x Sunday speed instead. And usually in this event, you mainly want to focus on really important stats, mainly just crit rate, crit damage to get the best possible ratio you can. And the characters that may have 4 sets wanted is a bit annoying. Maybe you have speed setups existing outside of it that you don't want to mess up. Maybe it's a base speed build and you don't want to roll speed, but then the actual system is like, yeah, recommended speed, so it's going to roll into that and count that as a good stat. And so that definitely does get in the way of getting good crit ratios. Another thing is that it's, of course, still RNG. It's not like you're guaranteed to get a god piece every time. You could constantly be getting the same piece that's already good. You may constantly get stats that are not like super great. So you end up getting more of a mediocre sided build. Very common, most people did. So that's a big issue that could be looked more upon. Maybe getting better chances to get the better stats that we do want. But yeah, since the event is still practically completely RNG related, that is a bit of an annoyance. So yeah, mainly the fact that it is still fully RNG, so there's a good chance that you may not get like a super good piece, or maybe you get 1 or 2 and the rest are mediocre and it doesn't beat your current build. Maybe you don't hit the goals you want to hit instead either. And then I already did talk about it, but having a character that might have a 4th recommended stat that's a bit annoying could also get in the way of getting the proper crit ratio, or maybe attack percent or HP percent depending on the character you are picking. There are ways to actually manipulate it, such as picking someone like Hanya, where it's going to recommend attack and speed only mainly, and then you can throw that on for your Danheng pieces and such. Since you can actually select the relic set and have a custom plan, but you can't choose like the recommended stats on the character, only the relic set and the ornament, you can only choose the sets. So there is some manipulation to it, but it would just be better if you were able to mostly just pick it up on your own. But overall, those are really the only downsides that the event is going to have. Of course, it's not going to be a free guarantee to get god rolls on every piece and have like the Aeon level Fribbles rating. But now the main part of this video, why should this be an event that we frequently get? I'm sure I really don't need to elaborate on this, but one of the most overwhelming, annoying, brain-numbing parts, anger-inducing parts of this game is building your character. You have definitely had a time where you've just gone months and months and months and months to continuously have a mediocre build. Maybe you can't get that one piece you really need to replace. Maybe your entire build has pieces that need to be replaced because you just simply cannot get the right artifact or relic set. I hate playing both Genshin and Starro, dude. It's so annoying for the actual terminology. But yeah, you can go on weeks to months to just never get what you want. The only ways previously we had to counteract this was the self-modeling resin, where you can create up to a main stat and 2 substat piece. And even then, it's not guaranteed to roll into what you want. You can make a crit rate, crit damage piece. It could be a 3 roller, 4 stat rolls into flat defense, and then it all just goes into flat defense. Counteracting that, there is a reroll dice that we barely ever, and I mean barely ever get. You may see 1 per patch mainly. And even then, that could make it a reroll, and it could just reroll into just bad stats again. To counteract that, they made the substat blocker for when you do reroll from the new anomaly mode. So it made it mainly worth to roll relics that have 3 stats that are actually worth it. So like crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, or crit rate, crit damage, HP percent. Which is how you should have really been doing it anyways. But they made it easier. But maybe you roll one that has 2 pieces because you just simply can't get one with 3. You roll it and then a bunch of like 3 of the rolls maybe go into like the bad stat. There's just so much wrong with it. While this actual Relic Recon event is still RNG related, as I did talk about, it has significantly, and I mean significantly higher odds to get you a usable set at least that has a good chance to be a relatively usable set that can be on a character, and if they're strong enough, you can probably use them to clear endgame. The event is also just universally good. You can use it on a sustain, you can use it on a DPS, you can use it on a support, whatever you want to use it on. This is fantastic for long-term players such as myself and probably you watching, because this either gives us the option to potentially upgrade a few pieces on an existing character that either we love or we want to dust off, or we can use it on the brand new character who just released. Let's say we go into 4.x. Let's say we go into like anniversary, right? Yae Sakura SP releases. She's like your generic speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, DPS. Imagine that patch comes out with a Relic Recon event and you're able to select her, have the substats that like it sets like automatically to, but in this case it would be recommended all those stats. All of them are beneficial. And instead of spending weeks to months even trying to get her set, because not everyone is going to have tens of thousands of relic remains or like 20 plus self-modeling resins just laying around to make the set for the character, which still can go bad. Imagine we're just able to use this actual event and get a good to usable, usually going to be good in this case, set on that character before their banner ends. So like a max of like 3 weeks, because you can finish the event really quick. Like Relic Recon took me like a week, I think, to get all 120. It was a week or 2, I can't remember, but you can get it really quick. You get the point. New character releases, boom, in a week or 2, we have a good usable set on her, which allows us to use it to clear endgame. Instead of succumbing ourselves to months of suffering, maybe you can use the event to get good usable pieces, and then you can replace them later when you get on to farming. I dropped my fucking mouse. Where'd it go? I found a chat. Anyway, like I was saying, it would just be good for everything. So this is just something that's good for every player. Someone that's been playing for a long time like me, a newer player, a returning player. Because universally, relic farming just for any type of player is just bad. So just imagine being able to go to a new patch, pulling the new character, and being able to focus on maybe their team, their traces, their ascension materials, because maybe you didn't pre-farm. Maybe you couldn't pre-farm because they're getting new materials. Thanks to the Relic Recon, you can safely farm that, use all your stamina there, while you can just use the event to get a good, usable set that lets you clear endgame. And as I mentioned, this is great for new players, because imagine being a new player and getting access to an event that gives you relic sets of the 5-star rarity for a full character, so all 4 pieces for the relic set and 2 pieces for the ornaments, all level max, all 5 stars, and all 5 rolls, and you can get a good, usable set out of it. Can you imagine how insane that'd be for a new player progressing through the game? For the story runs, for early endgame, they're going to be able to use that character and just decimate it. It's going to be so good for progression and also really good for their ease of mind, because now they don't have to worry about getting stuck in progression really hard. And then it's also just absolutely fantastic for a returning player maybe. So let's say maybe in 4.x or 5.x, someone comes back to the game because maybe there's a character they really like, or they just wanted to give it a try again. Maybe there's someone who quit during the 2.6 period. Maybe they have Firefly, they have Akron, the team's for them, they're outdated, maybe their investment can't clear by then. So they come back, they pull the character, and then they have to worry about, you know, getting the gear for the character, the ascension material, the trace materials, a team around them, the team building traces, leveling those characters up. It would just be such a big hassle to think about, right? Imagine being able to go in and just giving them a set. So you can completely focus on the traces, the ascension, and then the team traces and ascension. You don't have to worry about the relic sets. You can just actually just use the event on that new character. That's going to be a big incentive to come back, because this is actually a very, very, very common thing. A lot of people, so this is also just a really good thing for marketing too. A lot of people skip a lot of characters because they just don't want to farm a whole set for them. My friends have skipped really strong characters just because of that reason. And I've had comments saying that they just don't want to farm it because they have so much to farm. You would be a lot more incentivized to pull for a character you want to, but you don't want to farm for, when you have the whole relic set covered. Because now all you have to do is get their ascension and traces, which can take a bit long. The ascension is very quick. Traces can take a little long, but you don't have to spend weeks to months farming just to have a usable actual character. So Hoyo can get money for that person that is going to want to pull the character. The person gets the character, they get a usable set, and they can continue to farm and further amp that character. That's just a repeated process that's going to be happening with every recon event. So it's really just a win-win in every case and scenario. If it's going to be a new, returning, or a existing player, Hoyo gets more money because people will be more incentivized to pull a unit because they can just use the event on that new unit. Boom! Everyone's happy. I don't know why I did that. I'm like a crab. Boop, 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 boop. Anyway, so that practically does bring this video to a close. Talking about what is the Relic Recon event, talking about why it's good and some bad sides to it, and why it just genuinely would be a good thing to get very frequently. Because imagine having this event every 2 to 3 patches. You know how good that'd be for building the new character, dusting off an existing character, upgrading an existing character, maybe making a set for a character that's currently in beta because you can manipulate it in some way, shape, or form. It's just nothing but positives. Like, it's just something that could be so goddamn good. But yeah, definitely comment down below what you do think. Do you also wish that this is an event that they bring back frequently? If you did enjoy this video, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Zoro content. Check the description to join the Discord server, and also check out my Arknights channel, and I'll see you later. Peace out.